Welcome to this virtual gathering of the Westside Unitarian Universalist Congregation. I am Jennifer Disotell, your service leader for today. Joining me behind the scenes is an extraordinary technical team, making sure that this worship service is delivered to you virtually and as gracefully as possible. Whoever you are, wherever you have come from, whatever the color of your skin, whoever you love, however your body moves and your brain works, however you identify, you are welcome in this faith community. We gather today from many locations, but nevertheless acknowledge that most of us reside on the unceded ancestral lands of the Duwamish and Suquamish people, indigenous nations that are still here in this region and are continuing to honor and celebrate their ancient heritage. At this time, we are acutely aware of the traumatic history of pandemics brought through colonialization of these native cultures and the traumatic impact it caused. Let us take a moment to offer humble respect for this place and its people. Our opening words today come to us from, and are amended to reflect our present reality, from Reverend Aunt Howell of the United Kingdom. In this virtual sacred gathering, may the joyful find space to praise. May the inquirers feel safe to question. May the lonely find the touch of a friend. May the singers be given a tune to sing. May the lost discover the way. And may we all experience the touch of holy in this virtual hour. In Unitarian Universalist congregations worldwide, services begin with the lighting of the chalice. A flame within a chalice is a primary symbol of the Unitarian Universalist faith tradition. Many of our congregations kindle a flaming chalice in gatherings and worships and feature the chalice symbol prominently. Hans Deutsch, an Austrian artist, first brought together the chalice and the flame as a Unitarian symbol during his work with the Unitarian Service Committee during World War II. To Deutsch, the image had connotations of sacrifice and love. Unitarian Universalists today have many different interpretations of the flaming chalice, including the light of reason, the warmth of community, and the flame of hope. Our chalice lighter today is Lucia Enrique.
Lucia Enriquez was born and raised in the Philippines in a family of 12 kids. Her family came over as immigrants to the United States in stages, starting in the 80s, but one sister still remains in the Philippines. Lucia is fortunate to have made a life here in Seattle, working for tech companies as a product designer, and currently for animal advocacy with Best Friends. She has also been a visual artist and arts writer. Lucia came to Westside UU 2 years ago and considers it a very special place for connection, friendship, and spiritual growth. Lucia especially appreciates the opportunities she has had through Westside to participate in activism, listen to thought-provoking and engaging speakers, share in conversation about various issues, and to donate time and service. She chairs the hospitality ministry, is a covenant group co-facilitator, and has participated in the Welcome Singers and the ukulele and percussion groups. Lucia shares a home in Highland Park with her partner Peg and her cat, Lulu.
Our chalice lighting words are from Paul Stephen Donderhoff. For this 1 hour, Spirit of Life, we let go. For this 1 hour, may we let go of our anxieties, our fears, our anger, our self-doubts, our regrets, our petty grievances, and our distractions. If only for this 1 hour, let the flame of this chalice burn them from our hearts and minds and light our way to peace and serenity for this one holy hour. Please join us now in singing hymn number 124, Be That Guide.
He that guide whom love sustains, rise above the daily strife. Lift on high the good you find, help to heal the hurt of life. Be that helper nothing daunts, doubt of friend or taunt of foe. Ever strive for liberty, show the path that life should go. Be that builder trusting God, bitter though the test may be. Through all ages they are right, though they build in agony. Be that teacher faith directs, move beyond the old frontier. Though the frightened fear that faith be tomorrow's pioneer.
Welcome again to our Westside Unitarian Universalist congregation. If you are with us for the first time, we are so glad that you found us during this complex time. Please contact us via the website, wsuu.org, so that we can send you weekly electronic newsletters, the Westside Weekly, with information about upcoming worship services and other virtual activities. Today, we will once again be hosting a virtual coffee hour. Immediately after the postlude, stay online by clicking the Zoom link that was included in this morning's worship blast email. That link will also show up in the chat area at the end of service. You will be able to click on it from there. The Zoom link will take us into a meeting format so that you can see one another's faces and take turns sharing. If the group is too large, we will form smaller breakout groups. Participants won't have to do anything to join those groups, and they will be assigned randomly. We hope that you will join us for a virtual coffee hour and meet someone new. We also have a very special message from Jim Schlau from our Stewardship Committee to share with you.
Hi, Westside friends. Jim Schlau here for the Stewardship Committee. It's pledge drive time, and the due date for pledges is this Monday, April 6th. As happens every year, many pledges are not received by the due date, and we manage to live with that. But why wait? You'd be doing Westside a big favor by returning your pledge now. It's really helpful to the people who are working to establish our budget for next year. If you've already sent in your pledge, a big thank you. And if you haven't, get that mailing we sent you out of the to-do pile. There is a pledge form that can be completed and mailed back to the church using the stamped addressed envelope. Or make your pledge by going online to wsuu.org and go to the giving link at the top of the homepage. If you don't have a pledge form and need one, please email us at stewardship@wsuu.org and we will provide one. Your pledge is for giving in our next fiscal year from July 2020 through June 2021. I know we all have high hopes for that time on many fronts. Please take a look at the brochure, which is our attempt to encourage you to make a generous pledge. We can't stress enough that your giving matters. And remember, Westside begins with we. Thank you, and now back to our regular program.
Thank you for that, Jim. The deadline for the submission of your Easter hat photos has also been extended until Monday evening. Please take a photo of yourself and your family wearing your Easter hats and send them to Cheryl as soon as you can. Her email should be in the text box for you to access. One of our core values as a congregation is that we aspire to be warm and welcoming to everyone. In support of this important ministry, let us take a moment to picture the faces of our friends at Westside and to imagine the space we keep open to welcome newcomers. We want to find out who is attending our virtual service, so please type your greetings into the chat box so we know you're here and can send you love. And then please take a moment to send a quick text or email to someone you care about. And please take a little extra time to be friendly with those you encounter, however distantly, throughout your next week. As we regather and center ourselves, you will find the words of our congregational affirmation on your screen. One of the most important expressions of how we are bound together as a community of faith, children, youth, and adults, is this spoken affirmation. This is a statement of our highest values as Unitarian Universalists and the promises we make to each other at Westside to create our beloved community. Please join me in our unison affirmation. Love is the doctrine of this congregation. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve humanity in fellowship. This do we covenant with one another. It is always so lovely to express our values together. We are a people whose intentions and beliefs match their actions. I am proud to live my values, and I know that you are too. As a congregation, we have decided to give away 1/3 of the offering each week of undesignated financial gifts. The contributions for the month of April will benefit the Minister's Discretionary Fund. The Minister's Discretionary Fund is used to assist members and friends of the congregation and sometimes members of the larger community in meeting their basic living needs, such as shelter, food, utilities, transportation, medical, and other emergencies. During this time of the COVID pandemic, we have received a few requests from congregants and others for financial assistance due to unforeseen layoffs and business closings. We expect that this may continue in the coming weeks and months, and we need to increase our fund in order to help those who are struggling. Please give generously as you are able. You may give by check, or text the amount of your gift to 1-888-530-9056 while receiving the gift of music. Today's gift of music is offered by Leah Morris.
I'm listening. I am listening. Spirit, speak to me. I'm listening. I am listening. Spirit, speak to me. My ears are wide open. My eyes are now open to see what I may be. I'm listening. I am listening. Spirit, speak to me. I'm listening. I am listening. In this moment of Spirit, speak to me. I can hear the voices of all my kind. I'm listening, singing. I am listening. The sweet spirit howling into the wind. My ears are wide open, my eyes are wide open, love to see what I for you and me. Oh, I'm listening in this moment of silence. I am listening. I hear Spirit speak through me. Did you sleep well? Can I ask you a favor? Could you go and push with you for 5 minutes while I finish? You see I'm doing some worky stuff.
For 5 seconds?
5 minutes. You'll see how long. It's not very long.
How many seconds is 5 minutes?
Well, it's 300 seconds, but you don't have to count to 300. I'll just be in there to get you when I'm all done, okay?
So who's gonna have to count to 300?
I'll do it.
Okay.
So beautiful. Thank you to everyone for your generosity, and thank you to Leah for that beautiful moment in parenting and that miraculously beautiful gift of music. It is the tradition of our congregation to honor the joys and sorrows of our members, neighbors, and loved ones on the first Sunday of each month with a candle lighting ritual. This Sunday, you are invited to find a candle in your home to honor this tradition. Or another option is to light a virtual candle to share your light of love with everyone here today. In the text box, you will find a candle. You are welcome to copy that candle that you can then paste your light in the comments while we reflect and center ourselves to music. I'd also like to acknowledge the receipt of the following joy this week. Marion Key and Fred Walmsley are happy to share that Fred's dad received new medication for his heart problems, and it is working. He has regained strength and has returned to his normal activity level. Marion is still with him in southwestern Indiana until it is safe to return home. Our thoughts are with you, Marion and Fred. I also want to call attention to all of the essential personnel who helped serve us during this time, the essential who put their well-being and the well-being of their families at risk every day that they serve the public. Food workers, safety workers, medical workers, and supply chain workers, to name just a few. Thank you to you all. I want to hold a special space for the sorrows and worries that exist today, many related to our current health crisis, but many not. I also want to hold a space for the deep joy that you may be feeling for celebrations or accomplishments. We each have so many things going on in our lives at any one moment. May they each be acknowledged. Let us hold in our hearts the joys and sorrows known and unknown, our own and those of others amongst us. Let us all feel held by this loving community, and let us rejoice in this love. A single topic holds most of our attention as of present, as it should. We live in fear and strategizing, reacting and being proactive. Every day is beginning to look and feel the same, except that the statistics grow. But life does continue, both the good and the bad, in every category of life to every degree. As spring and summer approach, our world looks very different than that of the typical. We are, after all, fairly used to hunkering down in the cold, gray drear of the Pacific Northwest winter months. Springs and summers typically bring about the promise of blue skies and warmth, celebrations of weddings and graduations, vacations and reunions. But this year is different. The blue skies and warming sun cannot beckon us this season for adventures far from home. The grand celebrations planned for months and even years in the making will not be had. People will not have their moment in the spotlight as they so deserve. Graduates in particular will feel this crisis with disappointment of the lack of crescendo that has bookended their high school or college careers, as well as many, many others. The impact of this health crisis touches everything, stifling the good, exponentially impacting the bad stuff. In this season of impact, it will be important to acknowledge all that it touches to those around you, however minor it may feel to you. Currently, we are connecting. We are choosing to voluntarily come together in this holy hour to connect with one another. Many of us are being mindful to check in on our friends, neighbors, and loved ones more than usual. We extend our outreach past our typical span to include all and more frequently. And while that is very important now more than ever, it is also important to acknowledge a need to disconnect. I myself, more now than ever, am connected. I sit in front of this laptop for about 75 hours a week, working to manage my employees, my work, my new homeschooling responsibilities, my volunteerism, my family. And when I am not in front of this laptop, I am physically connected to my children, rarely less than an arm's length away from me at any point in time. I am more connected now than ever, and I am so very tired of it. That may be true for many of us out there. Connection is good. Over-connection can be draining. In this time of crisis, we will all experience its realities differently. Some will mourn the loss of celebrations. Some will delight in the postponement of obligations. Some will seek connection. Some will retreat from it. Let us not replace our perspective of what matters for the perspective of others. Let them tell us. Let us accept their reality and be empathetic to their concerns, crisis-related or not. Let us be mindful that we must care for ourselves and those around us in a way that is helpful to them, to all, you included. Connect or disconnect, both are acts of self-care.
Brave is the bird that feels the light and sings when the dawn is still dark. Oh, faith is the bird that feels the light, the bird that feels the light, the bird that feels the light. Oh, faith is the bird that feels the light and sings when the dawn is still dark. The bird that sings when the dawn is still dark.
I will start again. Good morning, dear Westside community. I'm so glad to be here with all of you this morning. I wish we could be together in person. I miss seeing all of you. May you be safe and healthy and feel your preciousness to me and to our Westside community. So, mindful conversation. There were 3 Zen students talking, and the first student said, "My teacher is the best. He can go for 3 days without eating." And the second student said, "My teacher is the best. She has so much self-control, she can go for days without sleep." And the third student said, "My teacher is so wise, they eat when they're hungry and they sleep when they're tired." One more. What do you call a mindful wolf? A werewolf. Humor in conversation can definitely be helpful right now. And corny jokes aside, let's explore mindful interpersonal conversation, the nurturing of caring, loving, clear connections. Let's start with what mindfulness is. Mindfulness is our moment-to-moment, kind and gentle awareness of what is here right now. It's a body-based spiritual practice, training our minds to bring attention to our body and presence and notice what's going on. To pay attention to our body, to come home to our body, rather than pay attention to our thinking. You know, that ongoing monologue in our heads about how things should have been handled, or what if such and so happens, or I need to remember to do that errand. Did you know that on average, our minds are distracted 47% of the time? That's like thinking about our lives rather than living them almost half of our days. Mindfulness is a practice to bring our attention back over and over again, from the thinking about our lives to the felt sense of our presence in this body with compassion, so we can then be with others with kindness and the ability to discern what is true and real. Mindfulness is being here as you are right now, without any sense of needing to fix yourself or change. This takes practice. This practice is about putting on our own oxygen mask first, and then attending to others. We first ensure we can breathe and be present before we can breathe with and be open with others. This is a scary time right now. How many of you have been triggered by what's going on? How many of you struggle with worry or rumination? I suspect most of us do. Well, I do. For many of us, our anxieties, fears, and tensions, and the stories we tell ourselves cause tremendous distraction and make it difficult to be present with others, let alone with ourselves. When we can gently settle into our body, be here, then we can pay attention to others. We do this with mindfulness, putting on our own oxygen mask first. How do you practice mindfulness? What is your oxygen mask? Today, I'm going to focus on 3 mindfulness tools: pause, breathe, and a body scan. Doing all of these with as much compassion and love for yourself as you can muster as you practice will give you tools to reach for, to practice at the start of a meeting or conversation, or on your own, that support you in being present aware, mindful, and then ready to engage with others. Okay, let's walk through using these 3 mindfulness tools. Imagine you're in a typical meeting of you friends. We haven't seen each other in a while. We've been in the middle of work at home, antsy children, COVID-19 worries, challenges about getting food or other necessities, and we sit down, pull up our chairs to our computers, and say, okay, here's our agenda, and we leap in. With everyone's stresses, distractions, and overwhelm right there in the middle of that virtual room, impacting our interactions. Interpersonal relationships can be challenging at the best of times, and right now they may be more so. We can, as a spiritual community, practice compassion and care. We can pause, reach for our oxygen mask, and lovingly, mindfully be together. So first, we pause. The pause is an intentional stop. Interrupt the flow of your busy mind. Halt everything to simply be right here, right now. You slow down and check in with yourself as your own best friend. In this stressful time, many of us feel overwhelmed and vulnerable, and we need to pause. So let's all take a moment right now to pause, to stop. You can let go of your thoughts and worries and pause. To pause and really notice, wow, here I am in this room with this community. To help you, look around, see your spiritual friends and community on the computer screen, in this case, me. Feel grateful that, hey, here we all are. Then follow the pause with a few deep breaths. This is your second mindfulness tool, your breath. Draw your attention now to your breathing as you deliberately breathe. Consciously taking a few slow, deep inhales and exhales helps your parasympathetic nervous system turn on, which supports calming of the system. So let's take a few deep breaths together and practice this. Observe what happens in your body as you do. Breathe 1. Inhale and exhale at your pace. And do it about 3 times. And then notice at the end of your 3 slow, deep inhales and exhales, has anything changed? And how does your body feel now? How do you feel now? To light our chalice at the beginning of a UU meeting is a pause. We interrupt what we've been up to before the meeting and set it down. Then someone lights the chalice, and this is our signal to bring ourselves into the present moment in this meeting. As we light the chalice, we're reminded that we are spiritual friends, here to practice faith formation, build community, be together with compassion. As the chalice is lit by someone, they may read a poem to help us pause out of our busyness. As that poem is read, we can deliberately take our few deep breaths. As that poem is read, you can practice your mindful breathing, focusing your attention carefully and closely on your breathing, on your experience of your breath coming in and out. Practice this as I read you this very brief poem by Miller Williams called Have Compassion. Have compassion for everyone you meet, even if they don't want it. What seems conceit, bad manners, or cynicism is always a sign of things no ears have heard, no eyes have seen. You do not know what wars are going on down there where the spirit meets the bone. The third mindfulness tool after pause and breathe is a quick body scan. Quick in this case because you're doing it before a conversation. A body scan is a slow sweep of your attention down through your body, beginning at your head and moving all the way down to your feet. You're paying attention with curiosity. You're wondering, what's going on in here? And you're resting on the loudest sensations you meet to understand them, acknowledge them. Not to change anything, but to say, so that's how it is. To know and accept things as they are. Because our most apparent sensations, perhaps a shoulder pain or a tightening of the throat or a cramp in your lower back, they distract us. Tension or emotion, something is being held in those spots in our body. When we notice those sensations and acknowledge them, it brings us into the present. We aren't resisting or avoiding or ignoring what is happening right here and now then. Maybe we aren't holding in quite so much. Each of us will have a different experience during a body scan. In a body scan, you focus your attention through your body to support you in settling in this moment, in this body of yours. You're discovering how you feel in your body right now. This is a check-in with yourself and can be a very profound practice. One way we as UUs help ourselves settle is a brief personal check-in at the start of every meeting, after chalice lighting and opening words. Perhaps we share out loud with the group, taking a few minutes, to talk about what's happened for us. But before we share out loud, before it's our turn, we can take a few minutes for a quick body scan without saying a thing. And if you're alone or want to prepare before a meeting, you can do a slower or more careful body scan. So as you scan from your head down through your neck, torso, arms, hands, pelvis, legs, and feet, you may notice, for instance, a sinus headache. And as you rest with the sensations of that sinus headache, you may realize a felt sense of grief or anxiety or something else. You might share then out loud in your check-in with your group, I notice I have a sinus headache and it feels connected to anxiety. This verbal acknowledgement of the loudest experience in the moment for you may also help you accept or perhaps just allow that sinus pain and anxiety to be there. That is your intention with a body scan, to allow and accept things as they are right now. There is a kind of ease in us when we accept how we are feeling right now and not fight it, wish it would go away, or feel frustrated about it. Your check-in then with others is simply an honest sharing of how it is for you right now without analyzing or explaining anything. You just stay with what is here right now as it is to support settling in your body. So as I've done with the others, let's practice this together for the next few moments. You can do this with your eyes closed or open, whichever you prefer. Begin by being aware of the sensation of the contact with the floor, chair, sofa, Then sweep kind, gentle attention through your body, starting with your head, remembering your muscles, organs, and bones. As you sweep through your whole body and move your caring attention fairly quickly down to your toes. Pause at any sensation that feels strong, loud, intense. Investigate that sensation and wonder, what is happening here? What do you sense here? Look closely, listen deeply to the felt experience. It might be temperature, heaviness, contraction, lightness, pulsation, vibration, tingling, itching, a sense of presence. As best you can, discern what is this sensation. Are there feelings, emotions associated with this felt sense? Allow and accept whatever you find. There is nothing to change. This is to simply be with yourself and discover for you, what is my experience here and now? Without judgment, moving down through your body with your attention. Let yourself appreciate what it is to be alive in this moment. Settle in your body. Accept and allow whatever you find. You can open your eyes now if they were closed. So let me walk you through an example of these 3 mindfulness tools. I pause and take a few slow, deep breaths. And then to help myself settle into the here and now, I turn my attention to a body scan. I notice thoughts and worry and remind myself that my thoughts are like clouds drifting and floating in the sky. They will always be there, but I don't have to pay attention to them. Thinking, newsflash, will never stop. I sweep through my attention down through my body, sweep, sweep, and notice that the sensation that draws my attention most is shin pain. I turn my attention to this pain. I hear, so to speak, thoughts about this pain. I feel an emotional reaction with this pain. The thought is, this pain is because I have to walk on concrete right now. I want to walk on dirt, but I have to walk on neighborhood sidewalks, and the concrete is hurting my shins. I feel an emotional reaction embedded in this. I feel it. The sensation is a warble in my chest. I notice there's also a light, teary sensation without actual tears in my head, sinuses, and throat. I notice there's a heaviness in my body. All of this, I realize, is the physical experience that accompanies a feeling for me. What is that feeling? I search for that exact feeling. It's not sadness, though there's something like sadness in this feeling. The word stuck comes to mind, but it's not a stuck feeling. Then the word confined comes to mind. And when I land on this word, confined, it's as though I found a key that unlocks the experience around my shin pain, because the warble, heaviness, and teariness settle as my body responds with, yes, yes, you've got it, that's it. My awareness my acknowledgement of what my body is feeling around this painful place, around this place where there was the most sensation, helps me settle and open to be with my experience and allow it to simply be there. To say to myself, this is confinement, acts as a kind of acceptance and acknowledgement of the emotional and physical experience. And something shifts and I settle in my body. Then I notice that my breathing deepens and slows. I realize I am present and awake now. Now I can bring my attention to the other person. When my shin pain and its attendant feelings were no longer ignored or shoved down, which, by the way, requires so much effort, I settled in my body. Now, the body scan is silent. I may be able to do all of this during a chalice lighting, reading, and check-in before my turn to check in. Or your group may decide, or whomever you're speaking with may decide to make time for a quick body scan. Then in my check-in with the person I'm speaking with, I might say, I'm feeling confined. There's no need to explain. Explaining or analyzing is likely to stir me up again and shake up my body, because our minds take things literally and believe the things we tell others and ourselves, and we can get triggered. We need to be so careful in these days with so much stress. We need to be careful about what stories we tell ourselves. When I simply share that I've felt confined, I support the allowing of those sensations to be there and empower my connection to what is authentic in me. I've listened deeply to myself and then spoken what is useful and true. To engage with others wholeheartedly requires mindfulness. The tools I have shared can encourage us to be our best selves, to embody the tenets of the covenants we as UUs have made with each other. Mindfulness tools support our ability to show up with attention, kindness, and compassion. Underlying mindfulness is a profound truth that every moment is impermanent, in a state of flux. So when we allow our bodies to settle, we also allow change to occur in us. Our bodies may ease, even if just a little bit, as we notice the beliefs, emotions, or reactions in us. When we come together, our mindfulness practice reminds us that our time will unfold, be a mystery, and emerge in unknown ways as each of us and our communal self evolve. Accepting impermanence, we remember that our worry will ebb and flow. Our thoughts about what to make for dinner will alter. Our headaches will shift. It is a spiritual practice in and of itself to allow the fact of change, to accept that each moment is emerging anew. Then our conversation is an exploration, a journey together. As spiritual friends, our practice of mindfulness is always embedded with loving kindness. The tools of pause, breathe, and body scan can be continually practiced even as we're continuing to talk with each other. As we listen deeply to each other and ourselves, we need to continue to be in contact with our actual unfolding experience. This is mindfulness. Attention is love. The love you offer yourself with mindfulness is love that you then extend to the other person with your attention. You continue to listen to your body's sensations and experience. You focus on your breath to anchor you in the moment and pay attention to the other person's feelings, words, body language. You continue to be aware of your felt sense of being alive in this place with these people. You discern what is useful to share right now and stay attentive and curious about the other person and their contributions to the conversation. You honor the inherent worth and dignity of you and the other, respecting everyone's time, relationships, fears, and decisions. As we share our truths as best we can and practice mindfulness together, we help each other grow. We strengthen as a community. If you take nothing else away from this talk, take the pause. Use the pause in your conversations. Consider suggesting that if someone calls for a pause, everyone stops and takes a few deep breaths before moving on. Mindfulness encourages us to live our faith. We are relational beings, and as we attune to others and ourselves, we practice faith formation. As we offer our love and compassion, we do so with intention to remember that we all struggle to be aware of our reactivity, fear, doubt. We all long for connection, long to create and be in real relationship with others. We all long for a rich, meaningful spiritual life. We all long to know ourselves. All of this takes regular daily practice with us and with others. May it be so for all of you. Let's take a moment to pause. Feel your breath. And then for just a moment, you can close your eyes or not if you wish. Reflect on all that you've heard and taken in. And ask yourself, what one image, idea, or mindfulness tool will I remember and use to be mindful of myself and to bring mindfulness into the conversations I have? We'll sit for just a moment. Thank you, friends. Please join us now in singing hymn number 1057, Go Lifted Up.
Your way. 'Cause the light, starlight,
Let us now extinguish the flame with these closing words by Julia Fehrenbacher. The cure for it all. Go gently today. Don't hurry or think about the next thing. Walk with the quiet trees. Can you believe how brave they are? How kind? Model your life after theirs. Blow kisses at yourself in the mirror, especially when you think you've messed up. Forgive yourself for not meeting your unreasonable expectations. You are human, not God. Don't be so arrogant. Praise fresh air, clean water, good dogs. Spin something from joy. Open a window, even if it's cold outside. Sit. Close your eyes. Breathe. Allow the river of it all to pulse through your eyelashes, fingertips, bare toes. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe until you feel your bigness, until the sun rises in your veins. Breathe until you stop needing anything to be different. Our service concludes with our fivefold amen. We would love to honor the African American roots of our closing song by pronouncing it amen. Please join hands in body or spirit wherever you are as we sing together.